putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Some folks want wind and solar. Others want nuclear, clean coal, and natural gas. To meet this goal, we will need them all. That we should take on, once and for all, the issue of illegal immigration. And I am prepared to work with Republicans and Democrats to protect our borders, enforce our laws, and address the millions of undocumented workers who are now living in the shadows. We'll put more Americans to work repairing crumbling roads and bridges. We'll make sure this is fully paid for, attract private investment, and pick projects based what's best for the economy, not politicians. Within 25 years, our goal is to give 80% of Americans access to high-speed rail. Within the next 5 years, we'll make it possible for businesses to deploy the next generation of high-speed wireless coverage to 98% of all Americans. Get rid of the loopholes, level the playing field, and use the savings to lower the corporate tax rate for the first time in 25 years to reduce barriers to growth and investment. When we find rules that put an unnecessary burden on businesses, we will fix them. I am proposing that starting this year, we freeze annual domestic spending for the next 5 years. The health insurance law we passed last year will slow these rising costs. Still, I'm willing to look at other ideas to bring down costs, including one that Republicans suggested last year, medical malpractice reform to rein in frivolous lawsuits. We should give them a government that's more competent and more efficient. There are 12 different agencies that deal with exports. There are at least 5 different agencies that deal with housing policy. Then there's my favorite example. The Interior Department is in charge of salmon while they're in freshwater, but the Commerce Department handles them when they're in saltwater. Because you deserve to know exactly how and where your tax dollars are being spent, you'll be able to go to a website and get that information for the very first time in history. If a bill comes to my desk with earmarks inside, I will veto it.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Barack Obama in 2011. I've done 2009, 2010, and 2011. What? This is a broken freaking record. I will go line by line. We're going to get these savings, efficient homes, power lines, double the energy, breakthroughs in medicine, launching of a cancer effort, no new taxes. I mean, it's everything you could possibly want. Wind, solar, nuclear, clean coal, natural gas. We need them all. What did Barack Obama do? He tried to torpedo the coal industry, and he did it. And you know what happened? George Soros came in, bought up the options on coal, knowing that coal was going to come back. This was a favor to Soros. Guy probably made billions of dollars on that stock transaction. Yet again, in 2011, Barack Obama promised he's going to get on that illegal immigration, enforce our laws, and deal with the people that he said are hiding in the shadows. That was his first hint to what he really wanted to do. He said he was going to get more Americans working on roads and bridges. We spent $192 million announcing, putting up signs saying, hey, America, check out these new roads and bridges we're starting to build for you. Oh, by the way, the same roads and bridges and repairs that they take out tax money for every single year. He said that in 25 years, because of his high-speed rail initiative that he claimed had been started the year before, 80% of Americans were going to have access to high-speed rails. Even the country bumpkins were going to get to come in and see what it's like in the city. Come over here so we can mug you and molest you and take your money. Barack Obama said he would reduce the corporate tax rate. In 2011, he said he would do it. Did he do it? No, not unless he looks like Donald Trump and can time travel. He never did it, and he never had any intention of doing it. He said he would take away the unnecessary burdens on businesses. What do you think Trump had to do? Donald Trump took $2 trillion of unnecessary burdens off of businesses. And you know what happened? Businesses came to life. They were in the emergency room, in the, ICU going. And Trump came along and went, what? Hold on, there's a kink in the cord. Boop. Oxygen started flowing and the business went, I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. They went all James Brown up in here. They started feeling good. Then get this. Barack Obama says, I'm going to freeze domestic spending for 5 years. Do you think this Negro froze domestic spending for 5 years? He spent $10 trillion, double more than any other all the presidents combined. He spent the same amount as all presidents in the history of this country. He said his new Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act that turned out to be not that affordable, was going to put money back into the Treasury. Not only, folks, was this going to save you money, and you could keep your doctor, and you could keep your plan, and you were going to get reduced medical cost, that he later said, no, the reduction in growth is what I was promising. Oh, and I'd meant you could keep your doctor and keep your plan, except we were going to have these new plans, and your plan was going to be phased out. So in that case, you couldn't. And oh, by the way, your doctor, he probably wouldn't honor the new plan. So sorry for you. But even on top of all that, Obamacare was going to be cost productive to the government. It was going to put money back, and it doggone should have, because it essentially quadrupled the rates the average person paid over the lifetime that it's been going. And you know what else? It's dying now. Rightfully so. It's taken a rich white billionaire president to kill it. And I say to Barack Obama, if I were Trump, you're welcome. You don't want to live with that albatross around your neck, black man. Write that book, get that $60 million advance, go build that house in a D.C. or wherever you want to live, and disappear into the sunset, because nobody's going to like you when I'm done. Obama promised more competent and more efficient government. Oh yeah, I got to give you a second to hear that. More competent and more efficient. It's funny that a moron would promise you competence. A moron who surrounded himself with morons. Do we need to count the ways? Even if you consider that Barack Obama had no scandals, let's look at his competence. He says that guns sneaked into Mexico, probably on their own, the same way they go out killing people indiscriminately and without a human. So they sneaked into Mexico, wreaked a little havoc over there, came back across the border, shot a couple of border patrol agents, killing one guy's Terry something, killed that guy, and they don't know how that happened. You know, a couple of rogue players, who knows? But that's your competent government. A competent government that got 4 people killed in Benghazi, and thanks to special services and friends like my buddy Chris Peranto and others, or dozens more would have been killed. But Barack Obama says, oh, it was a video in California. Oh, no, it wasn't a video in California. It was something else. We don't really know. Well, it could have been this one Lone Ranger in Benghazi. That's who did it. In Libya. He's the one. He's the mastermind. But he tells you he's competent, right? Government efficiency, you couldn't even log on to Obamacare, even if you wanted to get that stinky insurance. You couldn't even get on. The same efficiency that causes the post office to lose money to where they're now talking about not delivering your mail on Sunday, 2 days a week. How long is it going to take to be down to you get 2 days of mail? What competence? The competence that has led to a trade deficit of $500 billion annually, more than that, with multiple countries. How many ways do I need to count the level of incompetence of this administration? He says, again, he said this in 2010, he said in 2011. And folks, let me tell you something, because we're not going to get to all of these. Barack Obama in 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16, he promises the same crap. This is, I don't even know where this is the imagination of a child. It's like sitting down and listening to little Jimmy, tell you, well, when I grow up, I want to be like a lion tamer, but on TV. And I don't know. It really is like the rantings of a child. He's going to build another website where you can see where your tax dollars are being spent. He said it last year in 2010, and he said it again in 2011. And here's what's funny. He says it again and again and again. He promises all this stuff. Obamacare is going to pay you back. I'm going to reduce business costs. 140 promises this clown made, not one single bit of follow-up by the left to say, look, Barack, okay, I'll give you 2 years. After the third year, seriously? He promised again he would veto any bills that had earmarks would hit his desk, he'd veto them. How many did he veto? Did the press follow up? No. You can bet these clowns will follow up on Donald Trump, and he knows it. And he's just waiting.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.